Hey everybody, welcome to the West Dakota Dad. My name is Cody. This is my podcast where we talk about faith, family, and life. This is episode number 8, and we have a positive. We're going to shake things up a bit this episode. We're going to start with the verse of the day. Today's verse of the day comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 36 through 39. Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses? Jesus replied, You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. Oh, that's good stuff. So, there you go. Love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind. Most important thing. But I feel like it often ends there, and so that's why I wanted to add verse 39 on there, to love your neighbor as yourself. He says it's equally as important. And I feel like this year, there hasn't been a whole lot of it, but there has been concentrations of that. And I'll explain why here in a minute. We're going to come back to this verse too later on in this episode. But I wanted to take this episode as a time to discuss about 2020. Now, most of us would probably look at 2020 as an overall negative year. And that was largely due to the positive cases that were happening during the pandemic. That and the election. And hate is just alive and well, it seems like. Anytime you turn on the news, it seems like the world's going to end and whatever. But we're not going to quite dive into that. I want to kind of focus on positivity. I want to bring back the term positive, associating with positivity, not negativity, due to positive results in this illness. So I wanted to take a look back at my year of 2020, and I wanted to take away all the great things that had happened. Now, mind you, my family hasn't quite suffered as much as some other families have during this pandemic, because none of us have gotten sick with it, praise the Lord, and neither one of us has lost our jobs. Another huge praise there. So those are things I'm very thankful for, because my company did end up having a huge layoff, and I'm very thankful that I had made it through that. I did, however, have to take a pay cut, and I did get furloughed for quite some time, and my hours got cut down to 40 hours. Now, that would seem like it is a negative event. However, we were able to, over the past few years, we were grinding, and we paid off probably 90% of our debts, and we saved up some money in case of emergencies. So we were, the effect of down in pay and hours cut wasn't quite as detrimental as it could have been. And again, I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just looking at my own year and how thankful I am. So with that being said, of my entire, I guess, adult career, all the way back 8 years and everything, I feel like, actually I don't feel like, I know this is the first year that I have spent only 40 hours at work. We've been working 410s, which is even better. So I feel that it's the first year I've had a lot of time on my hands, and I'm very thankful that it happened at a time where I have my own house, a beautiful wife, and a beautiful little girl. to be at home with, because my wife has been able to work from home a lot. And so I feel like as a family, we've got to bond a lot, and I've got to watch my daughter grow into this little, beautiful, smart girl, and just spend so much time with both of them that it's just been such a blessing. That's like the best thing about this year I can think of. Oh, excuse me. So with that, and having more time on our hands, my wife and I have both also discovered some new hobbies. Well, for starters, I started this podcast, which is awesome because I've always wanted to do it. I just haven't had the time to do it, or I knew what I was going to talk about. So I'm very thankful that I've been able to start this up. And then my wife, she has been making some decorative signs and everything, which are awesome. And later episodes, I'll have to, give her a little shout out and show some samples of her work, and expand her clientele by the hundreds of thousands of people that tune in every week to listen to me talk. Of course, I am totally fibbing there, and the views at the bottom of the screen will probably prove that wrong instantly, but enough about me. Maybe someday that'd be pretty cool if I had that many, but it's not my ultimate goals for views. It's getting to do this, getting to share my love for Jesus and everything, and hopefully you guys can gather some of that as well and find your own love for Jesus, and we can bounce ideas off, or what we've learned off each other and everything. So with that also, I've been able to stay at home with my family, and we found some new hobbies. Another huge thing I would have to say is that during the beginning of this, we had a Facebook group created in our community called Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And it's awesome because you don't have to be friends with anybody. Everybody joins this community. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a great toilet paper shortage of 2020, and grocery stores just simply could not keep up with the supply and demand because people were worried that the whole country would get shut down for months on end and they needed to stock up. Well, this page offered people to seek help from their neighbors. Say, hey, I need an extra roll of toilet paper because we were fresh out. Anybody got, 20 or 30 or even just one they'd like to donate? Here they go. The people jumped on and helped out each other. Or, it could have been anything with groceries. It could have been going to do stuff for people. A lot of people rallied together and helped small businesses in their area with like restaurants and stuff to do curbside pickup and everything to keep them open. So there's just communities rallying together to help out. And it kind of busted the myth, or I guess the general thought of your neighbors only your next door neighbors. It's not. If you're a farmer, if you don't have any neighbors, it might be the neighbor 6 miles down the road. And this kind of debunked that myth that your neighbors are just right next door to you. And with that being said, I want to turn to the Gospel of Luke in chapter 10. This is going to sound some familiar content, but it has to do with neighbors, and also the verse of our day, and love your neighbor as yourself. So this is going to be kind of a little bit longer than what I usually read out of the Bible here to you guys. But this one's going to be Luke chapter 10, starting with verse 26, and we're going to cruise through verse 37. Oy, I need a haircut. Anyways, here we go. Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength, and all your mind." Right, Jesus. Oh, whoops, I skipped one. And all your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. Almost forgot that. Right, Jesus told him. Do this and you will live. The man wanted to justify his actions. So he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus, replying with a parable in the most Jesus form of teaching in parables, which I absolutely love. This is the parable of the Good Samaritan, starting with verse 30 in chapter 10 of Luke. Jesus replied with a story. A Jewish man was traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes and beat him up and left him half dead beside the road. By chance, a priest came along. But when he saw the man lying there, he crossed to the other side of the road and passed by. A temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but he also passed on the other side of the road. Then a despised Samaritan came along, and when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. Going over to him, the Samaritan soothed his wounds with olive oil and wine and bandaged them. He put the man on his own donkey and took him to an inn where he took care of him. The next day he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins, telling him, "Take care of this man. If the bill runs higher than this, I'll pay you the next time I'm here." Now, which of these three would you say was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by the bandits? Jesus asked. The man replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Then Jesus said, "Yes, now go and do the same." Parables. It's just awesome. I love reading Jesus' parables because he could have just given the man a simple answer. Who's your neighbor? Everybody. But he doesn't. He uses a story and lets the man have his brain starts, oh my gosh, my eye is just twitching like crazy. Anyways, he lets the man answer based on what his observations were from the parable. And that, it just gets your mind working. Instead of getting a quick, simple answer, it almost burns it into his mind, engraves it so it's sitting there to last. If you get the short answer, it might just be like, there, whew, gone. But no, it's a parable, so he tells this whole story, a memorable story, and the man instantly knows the answer as soon as he's done teaching. So, who is your neighbor? It's everybody. And neighbors helping neighbors, communities rallying together to be united as one community, united as one nation under God. So that's what I wanted to take away from this year. I get that it's been a hard year. People have suffered far worse than imaginable. But I hope everybody's at least able to take away 3 major positives from this year. And just be thankful that we're almost through it. So, I hope everyone has a great week. And until next time, I am the West Dakota Dad. Thanks for listening.